What's up, guys, and welcome back to Adventure Archaeology. If you're new to the channel, my name is Brandon, and today we're in the water. If you can hear it in the background, we're following another 100-year-old map to a site that had 3 houses along an old creek bank. And the reason that we're interested in that creek bank is because sometimes the households would dump their trash right over the edge. And you'll be wondering, well, Brandon, why in the world do you want to find 100-year-old trash? And the reason for that is some antique bottles can be worth thousands of dollars. So we're hopeful today that we're going to find a few rare ones. You never know, though. So y'all hang in there and let's go see what we can find. Piece of a nice old brick right there. It's kind of interesting. I'm assuming that it would have said green, and right there next to it, it's a rock that had a hole in it that washed out. We used to call these powder rocks as kids. You could take and crack them open, you know, it had powder inside of it, and they say that that's what Native Americans would have used to paint their faces. I'm not for sure on the history of all of that, though. That's just what I was told as a kid. Just found this beautiful piece right here. So between this piece and the brick that I saw, that is a really good sign that we're in the right spot. And this blue plateware right here is something that my wife can turn into some jewelry. So she'll be happy that I got that piece. It'll look really good once it's broken up and ran through the tumbler and the edges are rounded. So let's keep going. I'm kind of excited. Maybe we'll find some bottles here in just a second. All right, I see a broken one right here. I can tell by the shape what it's going to be. That's going to be a try me. The question is it large enough to be able to make a drinking glass out of? And what town is it from? So let's find out together. Let's see, is that a crack? Nope, that's moss. It's definitely going to be large enough to make a drinking glass from. And it's from Birmingham, Alabama. So we'll take that. That'll make somebody a really cool whiskey glass in the near future. See a jar right down here. Let's get it out. Oh, looks like it's going to be French's. Where's the easiest place to set this thing down? Probably right here. And I think I see another bottle right over there that I want to take a look at. There we go. Yep. That was it's French's, so that was a mustard jar. If you look on the bottom, you said design patent February 23rd right there. And it says, if I remember right, 1915. So, pretty cool little jar. Yes, they're common. That's okay. Now I see a bottle right there that looks like a broken soda. But there again, maybe we got us another whiskey glass. Oh, it looks like we do. I don't fall down in this frigid water. Let's take a look at it together too. It's going to be a Coca-Cola, I can already tell by the embossing. But that is nice, very, very strong embossing. That's a mold line on the bottom and an air bubble. No damage anywhere, so that's going to be one we can cut. And there again, saving another piece of history out of the bottom of this creek. All right, I see a bottle down there. It looks like it's a hobble skirt, but I can't tell. Of course, it's going to be in a really, really deep spot. It's probably going to be hard to get to. So, y'all bear with me as I do some raking to try to get this thing out of here. It's going to cloud up. It may be one of those things where I rake it a little bit and then have to wait just a second for the cloud to clear. And then rake it a little bit more. There it is. I think I got it. And I don't like the color of it already. Let's take it over here to the more shallow spot. Yep, that is going to be a modern coat. But you never know until you pull one out. And at least we're getting a piece of litter out of the creek anyways. There's a bottle right there. It's hiding right up under the bank. Let's see what we got here. Got us a nice grapey co. Check that out. It's got the embossed grapes on it. It's from Birmingham, Alabama. And it doesn't have any chips or cracks. Right there, it's got the patent date. See, patented May 16th, 1921. Very nice bottle. I love seeing those embossed grapes on these grapey co's. So, that made it worth the walk already. We're starting to find some stuff. I see some more stuff right here. This buried broken pieces, like right there was a broken piece I'll pick up in just a second. And like that right there, that may have been a perfume or a sauce bottle. So looks like I'm getting into a pretty good section. Fingers crossed we'll find some more. All right, so I got up on the creek bank and was just trying to see if I could locate the old house place. And as you can see, it's really swampy right over there. And I started running into a lot of trash, and I see something really interesting up here on top of the hill. It looks like it could possibly be an outhouse that's still standing. If that's the case, we've got a place to come back and dig, which is fantastic. That is definitely an outhouse. I can tell the closer that we get, and that really excites me. This hill really caught my attention though, because if the house sat on here, they usually just threw their trash right over the edge like I mentioned earlier in the video. And I can already see a lot of stuff around these trees right here. But sadly, this stuff is newer. That looks like that's 40s or 50s. But if I can make my way up this hill, let's see what we got up here. Well, they put this little outhouse right on the edge of a huge embankment with a nice view of the creek down below. So many bottles. A lot of this stuff is pretty modern, just so y'all know. And there's way too much for me to carry out by myself. You see that swamp down there? There we go. Definitely 100% an outhouse that is still standing. And privies were an excellent spot for people to dispose of their trash. We've got a place to dig, guys. I don't know how old this one is. I can tell you this. Those aren't square nails, so that worries me a little bit. But that's okay. We'll definitely come back and give this a shot. We'll probe around in there before we do anything and make sure we hear glass. But that's pretty cool. How many of you have ever seen an original outhouse still standing at an old home site? I know some of you have said in the past that you've actually used them. Pretty cool. I'm gonna keep poking around, see if I can find anything else. All right, the hill of trash is continuing. Obviously I don't have a shovel with me today, so we're not gonna be able to dig that privy today, but I just sent a message to Clayton. He's like, oh man, we gotta dig that. I said, well, let's probe it first. So we're gonna come back and probe it. If we hear stuff down in there, we're gonna definitely dig that. So much modern trash here, but here's the original home. And this is why I was actually headed up the hill, was to find it. It's an interesting looking bottle. So much modern trash though that it scares me that that privy may be too modern, but you never know. And it's just kind of like a dump. The deeper you go, the older it gets. Look at all that glass over there. And again, I apologize if I'm out of breath, but I did have COVID not even a week ago. So I'm doing pretty good to get out and about at all. So here's your house. It looks pretty old, the house does, which means that if that's not the original privy site, then the privy usually gets moved several times through the years. And this proves my theory that I've always told y'all. Here's the steps probably to the back porch. The privy's not about 75 steps off of the porch. You gotta think, if they had to use the bathroom, they didn't want to walk too terribly far. It would have just made their life pretty difficult. So there's so much trash here. I don't think that this is probably a good spot to metal detect, but I did just get one of the hockey puck coils from Garrett to put on my AT Max, so it may be able to snake through some of this trash. I got my fingers crossed on that side too, that we've got a spot to find multiple treasures. So that's pretty cool, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and head back down the hill for now, and we'll come back and check this spot at a later date whenever I've got somebody with me and a shovel. All right, so the house and the outhouse was up there. I was coming down the hill. There's this huge sinkhole right here. And for those of you that aren't familiar with Alabama, it is a huge mining area. And that looks like an air intake shaft. So it looks solid, but don't ever step down in one of these holes like this, because it could be 100 foot to the bottom of a coal mine, which is pretty sketchy to think about that it's right there. So you gotta be really careful while you're out exploring in Alabama, because there are so many of these shafts that are just left open like that. All right, so we're back in the water, and anything we find now, it's pretty cool because we know basically where it's related to, what house it came from, or the coal miners that were working beneath it. And it's always neat to kind of put the full story together as to the artifacts that we're finding. And yes, I just called antique bottles artifacts. Y'all can get over it if you don't like it. It's true, they're pieces of history, and they hold a lot of history, and they hold a lot of value, not just on the history side, but on the monetary side as well. That looks like a handle for something right there. See that? Break that out. There's a handle, probably off of an old dresser or something. Thing over here where I can stick my hand in the water and grab it. I don't know how old that is. It may be more modern. It's built pretty heavy. Who knows? Anyways, let's keep going. See what else we can find. All right, I see another broken bottle right here. Let's take a look at it together. Sorry for the not so great camera work. Oh, that one's got a nice crack right down through there, but that would have been a very nice Pioneer Circle Slug. So sadly, that's not going to be a drinking glass candidate or a whiskey glass. But there again, it shows that we are on the right path to finding exactly what we're looking for. Just rolled this one out right here. This is going to be a Pat D. I'm looking for right there. There we go. That's got your date number on it. That's going to be a 1947 from Birmingham, Alabama. Not a very rare bottle, but there again, they're not making any more of these either. We'll take it. I didn't turn the camera on for this one because I thought that it was slick at first, but it's actually very lightly embossed. I don't know if y'all can see that. It says Rochelle and Duran, Inslee, Alabama. And that's a pretty good find, guys. That's a nice early soda bottle, and that's exactly what we're looking for. Super excited about that. We are on the right path, guys. Let's keep going, see if we can find some more. All right, check that out, guys. There's a bottle. Oh, it's broken, but we still may get a drinking glass out of it. Since it's broken, I'm not going to be quite as gentle. Let's take and stick that into there and roll it out. There we go. Let's wash it off. I'm excited. I've actually been finding some whiskey glasses today. Yeah, there we go. Exactly what I needed. Pioneer Bottling Works. Nice Circle Slug. That's an early one, and it doesn't have any damage below the neck, so that's going to be another amazing whiskey glass. I love upcycling this stuff that most people would just be like, oh, it's a piece of trash, but to me, like I said, this is valuable history, especially to us local guys. I don't always talk about the monetary side of bottles and everything like that, but I have a lot of people that do buy these whiskey glasses from me to the point of I can't keep inventory, and that's why I get so excited to find them. And I think probably a lot of you wonder how much it costs to make one of these with the time. The answer is probably too much time. This bottle right here has got a little bit of rash on it, so it's going to have to be tumbled too. So I'm going to give y'all a rough estimate real quick of the time and effort that goes into one of these. So I live about 35 miles from where I'm at right now, so you got to factor in 70 miles worth of gas. My truck gets around 17 miles to the gallon, so 3 gallons of gas at $3 a gallon pretty much is $9 in gas. So that's not terrible. That's the easy part though, and the fun part is getting here and searching for this stuff. The hard part is then taking it, boxing it up, wrapping it up so it won't break, sending it all the way down to Florida, having Nick do his miracle work on this thing, cutting it, which is the easy part, but then polishing that lip, which is the part that is the hardest part of this. Once he does that, he only charges me 18 bucks to do that a piece, but I've got the shipping cost there, the shipping cost back, so that's around $8 per bottle. So I have to send more than one bottle at a time for it to make sense. I usually try to send at least 6. So by the time everything's said and done, I have around probably $25 per broken bottle invested into these, make them into drinking glasses. So everybody wants to know, well, why are you selling them for, you know, $35 to $55 a piece, depending on the rarity, and sometimes even more than that if they're super rare? Well, that's because it's got to be worth my while, because eBay takes another 13 to 20% after that. So ultimately I'm only making probably $8 to $10 per glass before everything's said and done, and that doesn't include my time tumbling it. It does take another 5 to 7 days in a tumbler, along with a special grit that cuts it. So it's a whole lot of effort. Is it worth the time and effort for the money? No, not really. Honestly, just to be truthful, it's not a money-making cash cow. I've seen a whole lot of other channels start trying to do this with their bottles, cut them and sell them. and I think they thought that it was going to be a really easy market to make money, but it's not. It's a lot of work that goes into it, but I enjoy doing it because it does save these bottles that most people would have overlooked. And I guess the other important thing that I should mention is it does help clean up the environment. That's something to not overlook, because a lot of these creeks are canoed, kayaked, fished, and kids swim in them, and the last thing you want is broken glass in there for somebody to get hurt on. So there is that side of it that is very important as well. All right guys, we had a pretty good day. We've saved a few pieces of history for sure and located a new spot to come back and check in the future. We got 3 nice drinking glasses, or whiskey glasses. We got the nice Grapey Co, the Rochelle and Duran, as well as the Pat D Coke, a nice piece for my wife to make jewelry out of, and the dresser handle. So if you enjoyed the video, be sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss us in our next adventure. We'll catch you guys in next week's video.